pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We have the secretary perform roll call attendance, please. Here. 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 Okay. All right. Okay, so our first item on the agenda this evening is an adjourned public hearing for...
You have to accept them.
We didn't get the minutes. Yeah. So, so we don't have, so anyway, so, all right. So I'm assuming next meeting we'll have the minutes.
Okay.
All right, so back to what I was saying is the O'Donnell-Wheeler Hill lot line realignment. It's an adjourned public hearing. Entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll move that.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none? Motion carries.
Good evening, Brian Stokosa, Dane Stokosa Engineering, here tonight. The applicant's here, Craig O'Donnell's in the audience. What we're proposing to do is we're starting with 2 lots, and we're ending with 2 lots. And what we'd like to do is just realign the vacant parcel along Wheeler Hill Road, just to give it a little bit more lot width for a larger style of home. There's no intent to build at this time. It could be for a grandchild or a future relative, but there's no intent to design right now or construct. It's just to reshape the lot to accommodate a larger size house. So that's what we're here for tonight, and we'll seek any public comment.
Okay, all right. So why don't we open up the floor for public comment? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak this evening regarding this application? Come up to the podium, please, and state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, my name's Christopher Zaleski, 8 Skytop Drive, and I have formal copies of paperwork to submit to you all. Who should I bring that to?
Okay, hold on, let me ask you a question. You want to talk about the subdivision that's being proposed on Skytop Drive?
That is correct.
Currently, this is a lot line realignment which is on Wheeler Hill Road.
Oh, okay.
That'll be coming up on the agenda next. So
Okay, can I deliver these now while I'm up? Or hold on to them?
Just hold on to them.
Hold on to them, yeah. All right. Okay. So is there anybody else in the audience that has any comments?
Yeah, I'm Craig O'Donnell. I live at 640 Wheeler Hill Road. I'm the applicant and owner of the property. I came here tonight to basically correct some misconceptions of what's going on down there. All I'm doing is this is a conforming lot. They're labeling it as a non-conforming, and it's already conforming.
No. Okay.
So there is no, I'm not changing anything other than widening the width at the house location. So it's already a non-conforming. It's being listed as it's already conforming, being listed as non-conforming. The purpose of it is, as my neighbor Marcy Whiteman mentioned, is I'm creating a buffer between me and the Diacono house. I live in the lower part of that property, and I'm basically been working on this property for probably 40 years. I've been living down there for over 40 years. This is my second house in that neighborhood, and what I'm trying to do is just create a beautiful lot and just improving it a little bit, so that in the future, if somebody ever wanted to build there, I have no plans on building there anytime in the foreseeable future, but if somebody wanted to, they could create a little bit more room between the properties and not be on top of one another. There's tons of room there. I have a 150-foot wide lot. I want to increase it to 170 feet. Mm-hmm. And then I own the property next to it, which is another 550 to almost 600 feet. So it's not going to affect that. I own the property on the right-hand side of it, which I subdivided back in 2012. I built my home on one of the lots. There's another lot that's at the corner of Old Troy and Wheeler Hill Road that's been existing, and I've basically mothballed it since 2012, since it was approved, and then I built the house in 2014. You know, my neighbors, you know, for whatever reason, I don't get it, are basically they're just against anything anybody wants to come and propose to do with any of their properties. Ms. Wegman brought a thing, this historical document that was drafted back in the 90s, which is all fine and good, and it's interesting to read, but it doesn't affect this property.
Right, so, okay, so I mean, basically at the end of the day, what we have is, you know, the document you're referring to, which, you know, which is listed on the National, Historic National
Yep.
Register. I mean, basically, it just kind of paints that whole area as, you know,
It
having
just describes
historical.
each property.
Right,
even though
historical
this, my property
significance,
isn't
right.
even in.
So the only,
here.
okay, so the only thing right now is, again, the current code, the current zoning code is kind of vague with the historic, you know, historic districts and things like that, even though this probably, you know, this does fall within that historic district requirement. I don't think anybody here has a problem with what you're looking to do with realigning the lot line tonight. So in the future, and this will be part of the resolution of approval, would be is that in the future, if somebody decides to build on that property, they would have to come in front of the board for architectural review. Just that,
So you're sitting an architectural review board just for this property?
no, it would be for anything in that, within that historic
See,
overlay.
I've already done it. I've already created deed restrictions on all these lots. I'm going to
Okay.
have architectural review. I'm going to determine what can be built there, the style of the house, the placement of the
Right.
house, the exterior
I understand.
materials to be used on the house. As you can see from the other houses that I built down there, they are all architecturally pleasing from the road.
Mm-hmm.
I placed each house exactly where I think is the best location, and
But we're not, yeah, but we're not talking about, they're not talking about placement on the property. It's more, you know, just whether or not what you're proposing, and again, there's no real standards for this area. It's just that what you're proposing kind of blends in with the rest of the neighborhood.
I've already proposed
That's
it.
all there,
I've already proposed it. I don't want to have to come to a planning board someday. My grandkids got to come here before a board if they want to do something there. It's
well-
already going to be in the deed. I'm going to have deed restrictions.
right, and then you could change those deed restrictions after we do the approval, too.
After the approval of what?
After, if we approve the lot line realignment,
Yeah.
right, and you submit a deed that says one thing, but then if you decide to change the deed in the future, you could change that on your own. All we're saying is that right now, there's something on the books. We're talking to, you know, the town supervisors about just coming up with some type of a better wordage that's in there, but I believe that the board feels that this needs to, you know, this would fall into an architectural review, or require an architectural review if somebody was to build there in the future.
Because anything that I propose is going to be.
Okay. I don't want to debate, I don't want to spend a lot of time debating this tonight.
No, I know, but I
It's
came
up
here.
to,
No,
it's
no,
it's
I
up to
have-
you.
I have the opportunity to come here.
Yes, you
and speak
do.
Before
You
the
do.
board, because
And
other people are coming here
right.
and making claims that are just inaccurate.
I understand that.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Yes, go ahead then.
I'm just curious, because you said that you already have the deed restrictions.
Say that again?
You said that you have the deed restrictions you're going to place on these properties?
Correct.
I'm just curious what some of those are.
So exterior, it'd have to be either stone, wood, concrete, brick, or stucco on the exterior of the building. Metal possibly, but no vinyl, no plastic, no tin, anything like that. The windows would have to be of a color other than white. I have a whole list. I can actually forward them to you, you know?
So it wasn't submitted with the application.
No, it doesn't have to be submitted with the, I'm not proposing to build anything.
I'm just saying that if you're, again, if you wanted us to review that and take that into
Well, I can
account,
forward
but
it
it's
to you
not.
if you'd like, but, you know, it would probably be a good template to use if you're going to be doing architectural review, if it's just going to be in this neighborhood. but I don't know, what other historic neighborhoods are there?
This, to be honest with you, this is the only
Yeah,
one.
it's the only one.
Yeah,
That's
because
right.
all of it, because everything else.
That was the purpose of me even buying the property, is so that the guy next door comes and buys the property, somebody from who knows where, and he wants to put up 40-foot white vinyl boxes on Wheeler Hill Road, next to my house, across from my neighbors. I've been down there for over 40 years. I don't want to see that.
Oh, I
I've already
understand.
spent,
I understand. With something like this, I think that you would be, that you would be in favor of having this there, just to keep,
yeah, but I
to
think
make
it's being-
sure
I
that,
think-
to make
I
sure
think
that
it's
the
being-
neighborhood stays, within,
No, I think you guys are just doing it just to, appease others.
we're not doing that.
That's what it looks like, Bruce.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you have that
It's just,
kind of help with the,
yeah, again, I've been down there for 40 years. I'm the guy that's basically taking care of it. Nobody else wants to do anything. Nobody wants to put any time, effort, especially if it comes to money. If you start saying anything about money, man, everybody runs for the hills.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
I'm
no.
down there spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on town property. I have other projects I want to work on down there. I don't even know if I want to get involved. I've already donated tons of property and other benefits to the town, and I get,
okay, I understand. I do understand. I think this is,
I instead,
right. I didn't think that this was going to be,
Neither did I.
this
Neither
would
did
be
I.
such a
Can
big
you
issue.
imagine a
Right.
20-foot lot line realignment?
I agree with you.
When you have 500 feet on one side, you got 200 feet, I own all the property around it, and this has turned into like a 4-meeting deal.
No, it's only second meeting, I believe.
No, it's the third meeting.
Is it the third meeting? All right,
Okay?
I thought it
Then
was
you
the
guys
second.
set up a public hearing for a
We set
20-foot
up the
lot line
public, right,
realignment.
and then that's.
Then you
right.
adjourned it, and here we are again.
Yes.
Over-
I
it's
don't
been
plan,
since
we don't
October.
plan on listen, we plan on making a decision tonight if you're the only one here
I
to
hope
speak.
so. Okay, that's enough.
Okay,
You get my point.
I know, I do. I understand where you're
So
coming from.
I'm requesting approval for a lot line realignment,
I do,
simple, easy.
right. I definitely understand where you're coming from, and a lot line
wanna talk
realignment,
about-
I
if you
agree,
wanna
I
talk
agree is
about-
not an issue, let's
Yeah, if you
just,
want to talk about architect review, I'm wide open to it,
okay. All it is just said that it
weird
could
that
come
you
back.
guys want to just do it for one property that it
Well,
just so
usually an
happens I
architect-
live on,
Right. But if anybody else was to build in that area, they would also have to come for architectural review.
The good news is, it sounds like you are saying that you have the best interests of doing what's right for the architectural design of this building.
I'm the one that's taking care of the neighborhood.
So really, we're not far off here. I think,
Yeah, unless you put restrictions in the ARB that I or others
That's
don't.
not, that's not the intent. That is definitely not the intent. Try to make it easy and as easy as possible, and just make it so that things conform with the neighborhood. That's all.
Okay.
It's just to help maintain the historic, to preserve the historic structures around it.
Well,
That's
what
all
I'm
it's
doing.
meant for.
But I'm putting my money where my mouth is, you know what I mean?
I know, I understand.
Instead of my negative neighbors
I-
who want to, I've had over 100 people stop down there. Joey Tapacini's been down there, Mike Sheehan, everybody from the town has been down there, commending on what we've done down there.
Okay. I understand. I definitely do understand.
Take a
I
ride
think the
down,
rest of
check
us
it out.
understand as well. So if there's any, why don't you, let's just ask if there's anybody else here that needs to speak. If there's not, then we can kind of move
Thank you
along.
very much.
Okay, thank you. All right. Again, is there anybody else here tonight that wants to speak on behalf of this application? Okay, seeing none, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, motion's made. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, I guess motion carries. All right. So, on to the resolution at hand here this evening. Actually, sorry, we don't have the resolution in front of us tonight. This is authorize the planner to draft a resolution of approval. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. With that, the one item, as we discussed earlier, just to have a note in there, the resolution of approval, that the applicant comes back if they decide to build in the future, that they would have to be, it'd have to be reviewed by the planning board as an architectural review under whatever is in place at that time. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
And there could be a clause in there about, it applies to all the properties in the area, not just to this one property.
Correct. It's,
Yeah, just make it-
again, that's the, right,
Yeah.
but that's the intent of having a historic district, is that everybody within that district, has to abide by the same rules.
Yeah.
I agree. So with that, so if everybody in agreement, entertain a motion to approve it with that.
Make that motion.
Motion's made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
Can we just get a copy of that resolution before the meeting?
Yes, we will. All right, you have it out before, all right, we'll have it out both the week before the meeting. All right. All right, on to the next item on the agenda, which is another public hearing for Leanne Ventures LLC at 7 Skytop Drive. Is the applicant, the engineer's here for that.
Can't get rid of me.
Public hearing?
Oh, yeah. Entertain a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion's made, seconded, all in favor? Aye. All right.
Brian Stokosa, Dane Stokosa Engineering here. This project was in front of the board previously. It's a single lot with an existing house on it along Skytop. The Skytop Road is served by Central Water. So what the applicant would like to do is just split the lot in half so he can create a new house for himself. The intent is to connect to Central Water, be an on-site septic. The biggest thing that we talked about at the last meeting was driveway location, site distance, and any drainage along the back of the property. We did have a meeting out there with Christian and the highway superintendent. We walked the property, and there is some drainage within the street that we can direct runoff to with a stub inlet pipe and corral any water that kind of discharges from this property. So in concept, we agreed on a drainage improvement out there, and tonight just received some public hearing comments so we can revise the plan and update the plan to reflect both our on-site meeting and any public comments tonight.
Okay. All right, so with that, open the floor to public comment.
Can I bring these to somebody?
I guess you could bring them up. Yeah, bring them up. We'll take a quick, not that I like to. First give, no. First give the secretary. She needs to have it for the record.
And there's enough for everybody, I believe.
Okay.
Let's see.
No, this is probably a different one.
So my name's Christopher Zaleski. I live at 8 Skytop Drive, right across from the property that is looking to be subdivided. I rely on a shallow 20-foot gravel well located about 30 yards from the property. The site has clay loam soils and shows consistent surface water movement, which is especially noticeable during snow melt. Because of that, I'm concerned that the new construction could affect groundwater flow and nearby wells. I'm not opposed to the development. I'm simply asking that any approval include hydraulic review and a condition requiring full mitigation if nearby wells are impacted, so homeowners can continue to use private well water. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Let's see, what's more there? All right, I guess we had, probably should just make note for the record that we also did have public comment from Raymond Norcross, who's at 5 Skytop Drive, which is the next door property?
If I get a copy of that.
You already have a copy of it?
I don't. If I could.
Okay. Is he here this evening?
Okay.
Okay. Come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, B, for everything. My name is Raymond Norcross. I live at 5 Skytop Drive. I've been there 48 years. I'm right next door to where this subdivision is going to go in. I'm here tonight to express my concerns regarding the subdivision and the proposed construction on the site systems, and I respectfully request that you folks consider what's going to happen here and the ramifications before granting this request. One of my primary concerns, as you heard from the previous speaker, is groundwater. The direction and the volume of groundwater in this area have long been known as a bad issue. Anybody living on Skytop, especially the lower half, the east side of Skytop Drive, everybody takes in, their properties take in water, if not their houses. It's a serious issue, and it's been there forever. And I'm concerned that the construction of a house on this lot is going to alter the way the water flows, and it's going to adversely affect me because I am right next door. I'm on the downhill side of this property. I want to emphasize that I'm not objecting to this man, to the property owner subdividing, but I need your assurances that my property is going to be protected. In specific, I'm looking at will my well be affected, and I'm pretty sure not, because my well's on the other side of my property from this. However, the changes in, if any changes are made to this property, putting in a driveway, putting in a septic, putting in a home, is going to change the flow of the water, and also possibly the amount. And my concern is that you're going to this change will possibly saturate my septic systems. It might undermine the foundation of my house, specifically on the east side and the south side. And the construction activity to build this addition to the property will include excavation, trenching. I'm sure several loads of gravel will be brought in to do a driveway and a septic. And I want to have assurances that this will not negatively affect the drainage. And down the road, I'll pay the price for that. And I'd like you to take my request very seriously because, like I said, I have water issues already. I always have. I knew that going in when I bought the house. But I think what's being proposed here, and I don't know the details of the site plan yet because I haven't seen them, but even so, this property is totally saturated with water and always has been, the one that's being requested to be developed. And I'm afraid, I don't even know how they're going to put a house in there. I would like to know if any perk tests were being done, because I would say the water table is not more than 5 or 6 feet down. And plus all the soil in the late 1940s, early 1950s, there was a U.S. Geological done by the survey done by the Army Corps of Engineers for Skytop and all of that area. And that survey identified the soil quality in North Chelsea, if you want to call it that, as being terrible. It's the worst you can have. It's hard pan and clay. And when heavy rainstorms come in and you stand out in your yard, you can see the water running. It just never stops until the storm is over, and maybe doesn't stop for another day or two. And in this particular property, there's a lot of water coming out, and I would like you guys to consider that. I gave B a copy of my written request for this. I also gave B and I have copies myself if you want them. I did a hand drawing rough. Yes. I'm not a draftsman, and I'm not an architect.
A copy of that as well. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to give you that. And
No, we already have it.
oh, you got it. Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
good. Thank you, Pete.
She took care of making sure we were given all the information.
Yeah, we got your letter and the drawing.
Okay, and I just want to thank you for considering everything.
No,
And if you do decide to come out to the site, I'm usually home. I'm retired. feel free to stop in. I know every square foot of property all over that street, so maybe I can be of assistance in helping you out. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Can I ask a question? Sir, on your map that you drew here, can you, from that your property line there, where is the drainage ditch or the drainage?
That drainage ditch,
Where is that in relation to this map here?
it's at the top. All the way at the top, it's a solid line. That was done.
No, you're talking about the storm drain, right?
Yeah, the storm drain.
Oh, the storm drain is in
The one on the road.
The one on the road runs right down the street, on our side of the street.
Is it on front of your property, or is it like to the?
It runs the whole length of Skytop on my side of the street.
Yeah, the actual grate itself, that catch grate.
There's a catch basin in front of number 7, and there's also a catch basin at the base of my driveway.
Okay, so I guess I can understand your concern with the water coming down, but the water's coming down the hill mostly, right?
Not down the street, from the back of the property to the front and sweeping across also.
It's going over it's not going into the catch basins, it's going
No,
across the
well, eventually it is, because it's running out into the street.
Okay.
But sure, the catch basin, but if you stand on Skytop and look up the street, all the water coming off of 7 Skytop and what water comes off of mine goes into the catch basins. But if you look above 7 Skytop, there's no water running down the street to that catch basin.
So how is it, are you number 8? Where did that gentleman go? Are you number 8?
Yes, he's across the street from me.
Maybe I misunderstood you. Did you say you were getting the water from the other side of the road onto your side?
I said that my 20-foot gravel well is very, very close.
He's going to have to come up to the microphone, please.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm just trying to, I just want to,
Right.
I'm trying to understand both your concerns and see what,
My concern is super easy for me. 20-foot gravel, like if I had a 100-foot well, a typical well with a pump pushing the water up rather than sucking it out of the house, I wouldn't be that concerned because there's a lot of space for water to have to pass through. I don't want the delicious water that I have untreated with no fluoride, et cetera, to be impacted by the development. If that doesn't happen, I'm happy as a clam to see a new house go in there.
so if they were to,
Right, but you don't, so the question, so basically, so you're not being affected by any runoff?
you're
Well,
not,
no,
That's the
I mean,
question.
I see it. I know there's huge hydraulic
But it's not
pressures.
running onto your property?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
that's already mitigated before it even gets to that.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, so
Good.
there's no, right, so
That's what I
that's
wanna
not the issue here. That's-
Okay, it's.
Okay, so it's basically now it's, the neighbor has the issue because of the water that could potentially run onto his property. So I know we need to address that as well.
So are they able to utilize how they construct this, a drainage ditch that goes towards that catch basin and catch it before it goes onto his property? So it seems like there's a plan for this here.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So
Okay, that's it. I mean, I just wanted to understand.
Yeah, I had asked for
Okay.
hydraulic study to be done, that's all.
All right, well,
Right, and if something happens to the well, that the developers make good for any damage that was done to anybody's well.
So wells are regulated by the health department?
Yeah, I know.
County Department of Health. So if this board
yeah,
has no
that's
jurisdiction.
kind of going to be, it's a little hard for us to, because we don't get involved with the wells, the health department does. The health department approves wells, and they approve anything around, anything involving it, well, and the septic as well. They're going to have to approve the septic system on the property, because I know there's no sewage, there's no sewer in that area.
So is there a different set of meetings that I'm to show up for in order to try to protect my interest of having just
No.
the same water I've had for
There's
years?
nothing that we can, there's nothing, with the well itself, there's nothing we do. If there's no surface water issue coming onto the property, again, it's just a groundwater issue. But
Correct, so in other words,
right,
if
so
something
the
happens
water-
to the
right.
aquifers
So if
based on...
they're channeling all the water that runs across the surface, right, to capture it, to get it into the storm drain system, so it doesn't run off onto the neighbor's property.
I don't care about the surface, what I care about...
No, but again, that's what I think is what has been the discussion right now. The surface water is just the water getting into the ground itself.
Surface
to
water
fill the,
is
so
reg.
is his surface, the groundwater, again, if they're not digging down very deep to put a foundation in, I don't think that that's going to change the aquifer level.
20-foot gravel well.
Right, I understand that what you have, yes.
But what about on his side of the road? Even if it's all going down under, it would be going down the hill, it would be, he'd be on the other side of the road of that, even underneath.
Yeah, there's a catch basin
There's a
between.
catch base, it's catching all the
understand,
water.
yeah.
He's worried about losing his water because the water table goes down. And let's let the engineer answer that question.
Not just losing the water, but having the water perhaps be tainted unlike it is now.
Do a new septic.
Yeah, that,
I'm not sure where that's going to.
I mean,
So the septic system and the well will have to be designed in accordance with New York State Health Department standards. It will be reviewed by the Dutchess County Department of Health engineers. They will be out at the site to witness soil testing on the site for the septic system. The wells will have to be located in such that they meet all of the New York State sanitary code requirements for separation to other sewage disposal systems, property lines, things like that. They'll have to be located a certain distance away from drainage structures and such. So there's all sorts of design specifications that the New York State Sanitary Code identifies for on-site sewage disposal and for wells. This design will have to meet all those criteria. Again, this board has nothing to do with the review of that. Part of the review of the subdivision will be the approval would be conditioned on them obtaining those approvals from the health department. This subdivision would not go through unless those approvals were obtained. So if you did have concerns relative to your well, you could contact the Department of Health and talk to one of their engineering representatives, even the engineers who would be reviewing this application, and express your concerns to them.
Okay.
But in general, the addition of one house and one new well in an area like this would not be considered as potential for creating drawdown issues or water quality issues. Is your well, how old is your well? Does it have a wellhead on it?
Yeah.
So
I can look down at the water. The whole neighborhood was a Jewish summer community, and every well was split between two homes.
I'm very familiar with the area. So not to cut you off, but so I would definitely speak with the health department. I would recommend, because they may have some recommendations for you to protect your well. If you have an older well, you would want to protect it from surface water contamination. So they may recommend that you do install some sort of wellhead to protect your well, that water doesn't get into it. That would be more of a concern than water infiltrating into the aquifer, because you have so much soil and material to filter out any contaminants. But that's
I mean, it's been tested and it's come back absolutely pristine. I'm just not looking for a change by developing a new property that creates a problem that didn't exist before that.
And all of the things relative to the drainage and to the road, the driveway, those are things that the board is looking at, that we're looking at, the highway department is looking at here. The well and the septic are all things that are outside of this board's jurisdiction and are all handled by the Department of Health.
Okay, thank you.
How often do you test the well?
So the last time it was tested was when they put in the water lines in the neighborhood. And so people, I think they were trying to use it maybe to help people consider whether or not they wanted to go on it at that time. And so a company came around and left sample collection bottles, and we were to put it back in the mailbox, and then I got my results back from them, and they were able to offer up additional testing as well. But it's a lot of places in the neighborhood have sulfury kind of water taste and stuff, and this well has none of that. And Ray, who's been my neighbor since I've moved in and way before me, has shared with me that other years when people's wells have gone dry because of droughts, my well has never gone dry. So it's a unique well.
Just so you know, New York State recommends that you do test it once a year, because the conditions, especially with the soils that you're concerned with, how hard the soil is there, there's a lot of different variables that could contaminate it. So it would be recommended, just like Christian said, to put a well cap on it, because a lot of the surface water is going over the top. And if it can get in, it could be from anything, whether it's a development from a house or contaminant from animals, for that matter. So
25 years, and there has been zero issue for me and my family?
Okay.
We'll have, okay. So we understand.
48 years for me. My
Yeah.
water is okay, which is why I never tapped into the town water.
Yeah, I'm just saying for, construction purposes, yeah,
Yeah.
have it tested. Do what Christian said, reach out to the, to the department that they, do the right thing for your well.
Yeah, have the test results before and then after.
My main concern is the groundwater. That's
Right.
really,
Yeah, they actually have a pretty good.
And that was brought up during the last meeting as well.
did you get a map of that also?
I did.
Okay.
And we also I met with Mr. Stokosa, and I met with the highway super, Mike Sheehan,
Yeah.
out at the property. We know that there's the drainage ditch that runs behind the property, just north of you. Mike Sheehan lives down there. He's very familiar with the drainage issues also, so he described.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, he described exactly what you were saying. So we're working through what we discussed down at the site, and what Brian's office is going to be submitting, some rendition of a pipe connection to the drainage in the street, and that would, depending on where it's located, but that could ultimately be a potential tie-in for your property also, if you had roof leaders or sump pump, or we could look at curtain drains too if it's groundwater concern. So if anything, whatever Brian's going to be coming up with, I think would be a dramatic improvement to the conditions out there.
You good, Chris?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome. All right, we have one more person that'd like to speak, so come on up, state your name and address for the
Hello,
record.
my name is Maureen Norcross. I live at 5 Skytop Drive. My only comment is if anybody would like to come over and see the neighbor's yard at any time of the year, it's a very, very wet piece of property. The whole center of the property is consistently wet, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay.
So we did soil testing out there, just so everybody knows, we did soil testing out there from a feasibility standpoint.
Okay.
Just to see what we had in the ground out there. It is a clay loam, like the soil maps described. To give you an idea of probably what's going on, there's probably a layer of clay that runs through there. He's in a gravel well, so there's probably a gravel seam that runs underneath the clay, and that's how he's able to have constant clean water. There is that separation of clay. The house construction that we're doing is going to be slab on grade, so we're only going to be going down 42 inches. We went down 7 feet with our soil tests in the area of the house. It was consistently like a clay loam type of material, so there was no gravel.
Brian, move the mic a little closer, thank you.
So there was no gravel that we happened to come across. So I think protection of that gravel seam that he's in with our construction, I think there's a buffer there, because we're not proposing a basement, slab on grade. So there's a simple type of construction. So, but again, Board of Health will be taking a look at all this. They'll be witnessing soil tests, and we have to design according to the regulations.
No perk tests were done, right?
No, we didn't do any perk tests. We just did regular feasibility, deep test pits. But, the perk test there, it's going to be a bigger type of system. It's probably going to be a system that's limited to a bedroom count. They're probably using infiltrators to get a smaller footprint. It's typically what we do in Wappingers. It's Wappingers clay, as everybody says. So if it's limited in bedroom count, it's limited in bedroom count. But
So at this point, we don't have anything in writing regarding the proposed mitigation for the water.
Not yet.
Okay.
that's something we can put together.
Yeah,
We
that's,
talked about
yeah,
it.
I mean, I think that's our best course of action at this point, is that we just get some type of, something to address, to mitigate the issues that were brought up tonight, and then we can move forward from there. Question is going to be is how long would it be put together? Because I don't know if we're in a position to close the public hearing at this point.
Wait, when's the next submission deadline? Tomorrow?
Well, our next meeting is the 21st, and that's December 17th, so if you're looking at February 7th.
Okay. All right, so February 2nd, you'll have everything at least submitted for that meeting. We'll go ahead, we'll adjourn to that date.
I mean, that means I'd have to submit tonight.
You'd have to submit tonight. Oh,
Yes.
I didn't hear that part. All right.
I'll run home, do it quick.
Well, let me ask the engineer a question. So if he was to get this stuff in, how long do you think it would take you?
I could have it to you this week. I mean, what we described in the field is
Yeah.
relatively,
You've already reviewed, you're only doing a limited review at this point, to the issues at hand. If he was to submit, let's say, the end of the week, would that be enough time for you to prepare something for that meeting for February 2nd?
Absolutely, and I don't think that it needs to be in its final form either, just something that shows that it's a viable
That
solution.
demonstrates that that's going to resolve, that they'll handle the issue that's being brought up at this point?
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So that the board could be comfortable considering making a determination or taking an action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so with that, somebody wants to make a motion to adjourn the public hearing to February 2nd?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. All right. So that goes out February 2nd. Okay. Our next item on the agenda this evening is Tissone Court, addition of commercial use.
Good evening, everyone. Steve Burns, Burns Engineering Services, representing the applicant. We're here for our public hearing this evening.
Yes, we are. All right. So basically, just for the record, why don't you just give a brief description of what this is?
Open the hearing?
Oh, well, yes, that's true. We didn't, yeah. Entertain a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
All right. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All right. Okay, so now we're all set. Give us a brief description of what you're looking to do.
Good evening, everybody.
Right, what are you going to correct?
The site is a 2.57 acre site in the Highway Business District, located along the east side of Route 9. It's known as 3 through 17 Tissone Court. There's 5 buildings on the site. One is a storage building. One can be used for. One is being proposed that it could be used as a professional services building. It could also be used as potentially be used as offices or retail. We've calculated the parking required for the site to come in at 27 spaces. We've proposed 21 spaces with seven spaces that are land banked on the site. There will be no new pavement, no land disturbance as part of the as part of the project. The project is strictly to legalize the uses that are existing on the site. All 5 of the buildings are built before I think the newest building was built in the 60s. It's a mix of residential uses with storage in one building and then the retail building. That's pretty much it.
Just for the record, the storage is?
It's for the tenants.
Okay, correct. All right. Okay, all right. So with that, being this is a public hearing, we'll open up the floor for public comment. If So if there's anybody here tonight from the public that wishes to speak in regards to this application, please step up to the podium. All right, seeing none, I guess we'll move forward. All right. Anybody from the board have any questions for the applicant at this point?
No questions, no. Just.
All right. So there's a concern, I guess the only concern we had, which I guess sounds like it might not even be a concern, is that with the storage in the separate building. As long as you're identified, it's identified as storage for the residents only, and it's not an additional use to the property. I think that we're okay at this point. So, we might as well go ahead and close the public hearing. So, if anyone wants to make a motion to close it.
Second.
Motion is made, seconded, all in favor? Aye. All right. So with the application, I guess at this point, we could probably go ahead and authorize the planner to draft a resolution.
Yeah.
Probably nothing left to be included. I don't think there's any amendment unless the building
The
department.
only thing was, Robert had asked that specifically with mixed use, there's a provision in that special permit that residential make up at least 25% of the site, commercial represent at least 25% of the site. It's meant to maintain true mixed use instead of something too skewed. Now, all of these uses are existing, these buildings are existing, and the footprints aren't changing. So I understand those percentages may not be quite 25, but a table be added to the plan demonstrating exactly where we are right now, right, in terms of what square footage is residential, including the garage storage space for the residences, and how much of the FAR allotted to this site that uses. And same thing with the commercial space, right? So that is memorialized on this site plan. We know exactly where we are moving forward.
Okay.
So if the board is okay with that being a condition on the resolution, I can prepare it as such. Because I don't think we've gotten any, I know that we discussed this at the last meeting. I haven't seen any new submissions since, so I'm assuming that it hasn't been added yet. But we can make that a condition of approval.
Okay, just approve the 25%.
Yeah, I think that the pieces are already there in terms of the use table.
I agree.
But doing the calculation of what percentage in total is residential versus what percentage in total is commercial.
Okay. So that'll be a condition. So we'll go ahead and, so I'll entertain a motion to authorize the planner to draft a resolution.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're all set. All right. Okay, our next item on the agenda this evening is Village Pancake Factory amended site plan.
Good evening, Jamie Machado with the Village Pancake Factory. Just recapping on the last couple of months, we're just reviewing the site plan application, which includes the upgrade of building materials on the exterior, replacing all the lights, replacing all the parking lights, and a self-standing signage by Route 9 as well as on the buildings.
Okay, all right. So my question is, you received a copy of the resolution from the planner?
Oh, no, I did not. Well, I didn't see it yet, but...
The owner, okay. Okay, because I think that's, basically we're just here tonight just to vote on the application, or on the resolution, but during our workshop discussion earlier, we did have one item that needs to be added to this resolution, which was in regard to the sign. So the sign, just the area, that white area between the sign itself And then the stone base.
Stone base. Thank you.
We're going to have that resolution added with a note that states there'll be no signage in between those two areas.
Oh, okay.
So they wouldn't be able to put any signage there, they wouldn't be able to advertise anything on it.
Understood.
So on, okay?
Yep.
I believe that was, part of the last discussion we had at the last meeting.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Okay.
Apart from that, the only additional conditions are that you revise the plans to comply with the engineer's letter dated November 26th and the planner's letter dated November 28th.
Okay, understood.
All right. So at this point, if there's no objection to that, entertain a motion to go ahead and approve the resolution as drafted.
I'll move that. I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay, so you're on, just finish up with the staff, and once they're satisfied, you'll be all set.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you for your time.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda is a discussion regarding the adult medical daycare, which would be on Route 9.
Can I just drag this tripod back a little bit, so maybe I can...
You could pull it back, yeah. Pull it back. As long as it
They can
points
see it
up
from his
towards
camera.
the camera up here, you'll be okay.
There you go.
Perfect. Yeah. We should probably make little marks on the floor, just so everybody knows.
Uh-oh.
Gonna have to.
What'd you do?
Directing the place be.
An architect can't figure out a tripod. Good evening, I'm Kevin Brody. I'm an architect for Seema Risby, Dr. Risby, who's next to me. And we're proposing a adult daycare center with a medical office and a retail/office component for tenant, future tenants.
Okay.
At 1676 Route 9. It's in a HD zone district, and the building's 11,090 square feet, one story. And we plan on doing minor modifications to the exterior, which I'll run through shortly. The uses of daycare, office, retail are all allowed in a HD zone. We are decreasing the parking intensity because everyone's going to be brought in buses or vans. And I guess I'd just like to kind of go through all the comments that we've received since the last meeting.
If you want, yeah. Do you have both? You received both the letters from the planner and the engineer?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to run through?
Yeah. Why don't we run through?
When we start with do you want to start with the planner's letter? That might be the easier. Might have the.
So the planning department, their main comment was about a safe connection from the Route 9 sidewalk. And then providing like a striped walkway up the entrance drive.
You're talking about Dutchess County?
Dutchess County. Yeah.
Dutchess County Planning, yeah.
Correct, yeah, they commented on the application.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting with.
Yep.
Yeah. So let me go to the site plan here. It's not shown on here, but there is a site plan. I mean, there is a sidewalk along Route 9, which is constructed. It goes up Scenic Drive and it wraps around and it comes across. There's a crossing here with a depressed curve at both radii into the site. and then it continues straight across.
And the bus stop is there at the corner, right? Between your entrance drive and the corner?
If I can, I have some photographs here.
To the left of the driveway?
That's where it's marked.
So it looks-
Could be wrong too, I guess.
It looks like the sidewalk was constructed very recently because the Google Maps view doesn't show a sidewalk. It shows it ending at the corner there.
Yeah.
But then I have this photo, which shows clearly a sidewalk. This is to the left side of the entrance here. And then it continues across to the right side of the entrance with, sidewalk with curb cut there. This is 30 feet wide at the entry drive, which is a little oversized. 24 is kind of standard. So I think what the planner is suggesting is to maybe do a 4-foot striped area here that would continue up, around the curve here, and then cutting across to the entry there. I don't know how much how many bus passengers they're going to get, to be honest with you, and I also don't foresee this site being a particularly busy site where there's going to be a lot of ingress and egress of cars, especially since the majority of all the patients are going to be brought in on ambulette or bus.
Right, but you do have, a retail or office component too.
Right.
That might support having a pedestrian access.
Sure.
So I think maybe that's why they're looking at it as well. So it's not just, the one use, but it could be any of the uses, or, possibly in the future, something might change and this, this morphs into a different type of a business that may be more reliant upon public transportation. We don't know. But I think they're just throwing it out there. Is it something that, again, it's connecting the existing sidewalk to the, into the property somehow? I guess. I know it's not a lot. I mean,
we're restriping the whole parking lot. I mean, it's not really a big deal if we have to add that, but it's really up to you and what your opinions
you said the width of the driveway was how big?
It's 30 feet wide.
30 feet wide, yeah.
I think that was part of the comment, right? They've got the space. It lines up on the southern side of that entrance drive. If you were to, if there was a walkway, because the sidewalk has the ramp, it comes down to grade to the driveway, and then you're at grade all the way up. The only difference, though, is that I think that walkway coming up from the parking lot does not have a ramp. That's not to grade, right?
Yeah, the ramp is over here.
Over by the handicap spaces.
Here, so we really have to walkway back to the handicap walkway there. But I would assume, we'd have to make that handicap accessible.
Is there a bus stop there?
There is.
Is that what's driving there?
It's at the corner right there between the entrance drive and Woodhill Green.
Because otherwise it really doesn't make sense.
I think it's in between those two entrances, just based on Google Maps street view, like looking at the sign for the bus stop. Bus stop 42.
It's on the north side of that driveway, right?
That's
on the south
correct, on the north side of the driveway.
It's on the north side.
It's right here. I know. Sure. So it's right, there's a rock outcrop right here. So it's like, that's what Google Maps is showing it. If you look, in reality, it's just a grass patch. There's nothing there. So
It's only a suggestion.
I don't think it sees a lot of action.
We'd have to vote to not allow it, or to not require it, let's put it that way, I mean, if it's a matter of putting concrete in the ground is one thing, a matter of painting some crosswalk.
I bet you when they redid that whole walkway,
everybody's happy.
Paint them and be
Paint the
done with
lines
it.
and everybody's happy.
It's a difference.
As long as they don't got to spend any real money on it.
Right.
Do you want to just talk about that?
So if it's feasible to do it, which is painting some crosswalks.
Sure.
And it'll slow people down in the parking lot a little bit too.
I mean, it'd be something that you think that would work to make it, from the entry point going in, you provide a crosswalk. Paint everything out. I think that would satisfy the comment at that point.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Okay, let's...
So striping the parking lot anyway, right?
We're going to restripe the whole parking lot, yeah. Okay, so her other comment was about landscaping, and again, that's, up to you guys. We were planning on going in with the existing landscaping that's there, but if,
I think the comment, or the nature of the comment was that you're proposing to maintain, I have a similar comment, you're proposing to maintain the landscaping, but you're missing, I think, a landscaping schedule. So you have all of the symbols on the plan, but I don't see a landscaping schedule detailing what those plantings are.
Okay.
If you're proposing to maintain the existing landscaping, I think that's fine. I just need a little bit more information.
What's actually on the last set of plans is even still there.
Yeah.
And by the way,
And replacing what's died and,
and some of them did, and some of them were replanted with different species than were, done by the landscape architect
at the time.
I think in 2011 when we.
The only thing that may come up, so when you revise the plans, you include the schedule. What I'll do is just make sure that whenever this was approved last, that there aren't any non-native species on the list. If there are, I'll flag them and we can, replace them, but otherwise we can just move forward with what is existing and what's proposed.
Probably just get the landscape architect that did the original submittal to come up and.
The money you're saving on the sidewalk, put into some bushes.
We'll have the landscape architect come and identify the species and then redo the site plan with the landscape schedule.
Sure.
Would that be, okay.
Yeah, and just highlight anything that you are proposing to change because this is dead and you want it to be something else. If there are any changes, highlight what those changes are.
Okay.
Otherwise, just show what all those symbols mean and have a note that just says we're going to maintain it as is and replace what's dead.
Okay.
Yeah, what I can see, there's only just a couple bushes around that entrance. That's it.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right, so we just have to get the plan amended with the table. Go.
So I think that was it from the Dutchess County.
From the county.
Plan.
Okay. Which are basically, similar to what what Malcolm had, our planner. He had those first two items, or at least the parking was the first item he had.
So the parking, I was just detailing the changes that they're proposing.
Yep.
They're using daycare as their parking multiplier, which I think is a good one to use. This is a new use, so the use does not exist currently in our parking schedule.
Yep.
If they wanted to argue that they're going to have even less parking than a daycare center, I think that would be a strong argument, but they're using it as is. Existing, there's 66 parking spaces. They're reducing this down to 62 to make additional handicap spaces. But by code, because they're going from a very large retail building to a daycare center with two smaller retail/office spaces, the parking requirement is going down to 53. This means that they're changing the parking, they're over their parking maximum, so they'll need to be granted a parking waiver.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Landscaping, we already talked about. They're not proposing any changes to the lighting. What is shown on the plans tells me that certain elements of the lighting plan are not in compliance with the current lighting standards. That being said, they're not proposing any lighting changes. And the additional entrances for the retail businesses looks like they will be lit, so we wouldn't look to add additional lighting for the changes in use. That being said, I defer to the planning board whether or not you want a full lighting plan or to look for changes to the site lighting. Sidewalks we talked about. What I would add to the county comment, the county was talking about a walkway from Route 9 up to the walkway in front of the building. What I would point out to the applicant and to the board is that the entrances for the retail/office are on that the north side or the left side of the building. And the walkway in front of the building does not lead over there. There isn't a walkway. Right now, it's just a drive aisle. That doesn't need to be a deal breaker. That doesn't need to change. I just wanted to highlight that you might not really be able to see that those businesses are there, and there isn't a walkway that leads you to it. So just, even just from your perspective, you may want to consider extending your walkway, and you have the parking spaces to lose, extending the walkway over to them, I don't know if you're proposing anything in the way of signage to indicate to anyone.
Not at the time, but
Not
we
right
will
now.
as we go along. We're going to, yeah.
And I also know that the nature of the tenants that you are looking for would be, you know, people will know that these are here because they're using the rest of the site. But as it is proposed, those entrances will be relatively hidden and accessible, but not obviously accessible. And that's the end of my...
Yeah. So with that, with the signage, have them propose possibly putting up the outline of what a sign might be that they'd be looking for?
So right now, they're not proposing any signage. They would come back for a signage permit under architectural review at a later date.
I'm just saying to avoid it in the future, because if we're approving everything and then they're coming back for just a sign, that becomes...
Yeah, I agree with that. And right now, like, those are future tenants, so it may be a while before they get tenants in there. That we would do signage individually on that basis, but...
You could put a box.
Right. Right
This is
now,
where the sign will go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could show that on the, and a proposed size maybe on the facade with just a...
Yeah, just that way that when, you know, it's the size is approved, and then it wouldn't have to come back here technically for another approval just for a sign.
Is there a monument sign on the site currently?
There is.
Yeah.
There's a pylon sign, illuminated pylon sign right here, which I think Dr. Rizvi does want to reuse, right?
You're going to maintain that. Are you thinking about adding these other businesses, like 2 little blocks underneath your primary sign of what else would be here?
In the future, yeah, I think she would do that. So for right now, we would submit. So I think the idea is to kind of get some preliminary approval from you guys before we go actually hire a sign company to start drawing the graphics and the signage for this. That's, you know, at least where I was thinking. And then also, they may want to, you know, put a sign on the building like there is right now as well.
Well, obviously, you're going to, for that, because you know, definitely know you're going to use that, you know, that space.
All that would be architectural. I mean, they could do it all now, but they don't need to do it all now. You can come back later and look for changes to signage in the future. It just means another trip and another approval process. But a simpler one.
Just trying, it will be simpler, but at the end of the day, you know, you can, whatever you could wrap up with this process is a lot easier.
Okay.
And cheaper.
Yeah, understand.
Waiver. Does that stay with the property? Or just for this use?
Just for the use, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just for the use.
Just for, because if they change...
Because if the change in use would change the parking, then they would have to come in for an amended site plan.
So it's not like a variance, it's just for this particular...
Yeah, for this site plan.
Right, so let's say change the use in the future and they make it like a nightclub or something, and there's going to be the requirement to have that much more parking.
Right.
Then they would have to come back to us.
Okay.
All right.
And that document that you're reading off of, who is that from?
That's my comment memo.
Oh, those are your comments, because I don't know that I ever received those.
Okay.
To be honest with you, so.
Yeah, the H&H comment memo dated January 2nd.
Yeah, I don't have that here.
Okay.
So I have the engineer's comments.
And Dutchess County Planning.
Dutchess County Health and Planning, and Dutchess County Planning.
Okay.
I don't know if that, okay, that's great, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, so moving on to now the engineers' comments that just arrived today. If available, applicant should submit the previously approved site plan for the property. I'll try to locate that. I would assume that maybe Town of Wappingers has a record of this.
Well, if that's where we're talking, you're going to check and see if we have a copy of that somewhere. Okay.
For the original drawings?
We'll try to get staff to try to find a copy if you can't locate it.
Okay.
So when we'll go.
Do I have to do a FOIA request for that? Do I have to do a FOIA request? No, you can just, okay, thanks. Recommend fire department emergency services, that's up to you.
Question on that. So these are from our office.
Okay.
So the reason why I raised that up is not necessarily an engineering issue, the emergency services, but just from experience with similar applications in the past, have to do with either assisted living facilities or something like this that could put an additional strain on the emergency services. I mean, how many, what is the occupancy of the facility?
You want to answer? It's
20 patients at a time?
This is Dr. Seema Rizvi.
Everyone can hear me? Hi. Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to thank all of you for being very supportive the last meeting I had. So thanks for your support. So this is a mid-level daycare, and it is very different from assisted living. Here, because, you know, the idea of this is because all these older adults, because of their decrease in functional status and comorbid illness, they end up in the hospital, but then when they go back home, then they are in isolation and they are in despair because it gets very difficult for family members to be there for them all the time. So this is going to be to give them like a psychosocial kind of support and the mental health kind of thing, and also the medical care. So this is going to be like a geriatric clinic also, where I will be basically the main geriatric person with some specialists I will try to get in also. So this is different from the assisted living because here they will be there only for 5-6 hours, like, you know, or 4 hours depending on them. But there will not be like, they are not going to get like a kind of too much water consumption also, because they are there just with to get little kind of the breakfast or meal, but it is all the ready-made kind of things. And regarding what is your question about the
emergency service? So like if any one of the your patients or tenants, clients had an emergency, health emergency that required some sort of 911 response or ambulance response, making sure, I'm not sure if this is a facility that would, it seems like this type of facility would have more of an instance of emergency response.
So let me interrupt you. So this application has to go in front of the Fire Prevention Bureau.
Right.
All right, which is made up of the three different fire districts in the town. If they have, they're the ones that are going to review it. They're going to make the comments. Usually B gets the, They're having their meeting tomorrow night?
Perfect.
So after that meeting, we'll get comments back from them.
That was my only.
Okay, I wasn't sure what you were looking for, but I think that's exactly, that's the normal process. That's the way it's always been. So every application, you know, initially, they get the application, they review it, give us some comments. Unfortunately, with the holidays, it seems like we're a little ahead of them.
Okay, good.
So, all right. So it's not. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. They'll review it. They'll have, if they have comments, they will. B will end up getting a copy of those comments to you as well, so that you could start addressing it either with them or with us, depending upon what the issue is.
It will be just like if any patient has a 911 call, we usually call. It is not like going to be like, you know, it is going to be the same call. If we, depending on how critical patient is, we'll definitely will call 911 for the patient.
So, and just to be clear too, is that this is a staffed facility, so you're going to have somebody there.
Oh yes, definitely there will be staff. There will be always 2-3 people, and with the medical care also. So it is.
And Dr. Rizzi's all be on premise.
My office will be there also.
So there'll be some type of skilled care. You know, to assess the situation, and if you need to, you contact.
Definitely. The immediate care will be there for them also, like, you know, because it's a medical office also, like, you know.
As long as it's going in front of the Fire Prevention Bureau, they're discussing it. Just for instance, there was a similar application in another municipality in Dutchess County where it got pretty far along the way. Emergency services got to see it late. They said, we don't have the capacity to respond to a use like this because it's going to need, they're anticipating X number of calls, 911 calls per year or per day or whatever it was. And they had to end up going into a licensure agreement with a private ambulance company in order for that project to go through. So just trying to point it out early, as long as it's going through that.
It's still going to go through, it goes through that process. All the applications go except for, some of the, like the architectural reviews.
And regarding the parking lot, most of these patients will be, like, we will provide them transportation because it is covered by their insurance also. So they will be dropped and they pick up and drop, the transportation will be provided from us. So, and as far as the outpatient clinic is concerned, the patients are in and out. You know, when patients goes to any doctor's office, they are in and out. They are not there to have to be in the parking lot for a long time. So that's how it will be, you know.
What do you practice?
I practice this geriatrics also. I have my office here in Fishkill. And then I was with Teconic, which is Wingate, for 22 years. But now I'm working in White Plains, where I have the job, in White Plains Nursing Home.
You're going to have this daycare going on that you're going to oversee, and then you're going to have your office there?
My office will be there now.
You're going to practice your other stuff while this is also going on?
No, my practice is limited. I don't work long hours.
Okay.
And that's why now this facility, I will have my own and I will focus more on my office practice. Before, my practice was 80% based on nursing homes. And I used to see mostly the adult, the older people but now it will be more with this practice and plus this. Yeah. I did for 22 years, so now I want to have my vision to give something for the older adult with compassionate care, and I have this vision of providing this kind of unique kind of thing in this county, and I'm sure that you guys are very supportive, and with this support, I will make it until I get, which I am quite sure I will get support from all of you.
I think it's a good thing, considering two options are stay in the hospital or go get dumped in a nursing home right now.
Huh?
The two options for elderly that when they're having issues need this, they either have to go into a nursing home or they have to stay at the hospital to get care. There's really nothing like this.
Yeah, but that's why I have this vision. And I'm very confident this vision is going to be more like, very kind of practical aspect, and we will get the result of this. We'll see the result of this, Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So my only request is, it is a little time-sensitive matter because I have a lot of pressure from the seller. So I would appreciate if I can get all these things so I can get it done. So I would appreciate if, those...
contingency basis that runs out at the end of the month, going to ask for another month.
So,
process.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Wants to get some sort of, I guess.
Because it's like a seller kind of pressure I'm getting, so just a request,
So, as far as the site's capability of supporting this, you did get some feedback from the health department?
No, that I'm connected to them also, like.
So I only have really two comments that I need to talk about. And that is one of the health department feedback, and then also the contents of the site plan. So.
Yeah, definitely I will also provide that kind of things also, like, yeah. I'm working on that, yeah. Any other?
Yeah, I think you just wanted to continue going through the...
Yeah, water and sewer.
Yeah. Okay. So, so the site plan, fire department, map reference, again, that would come from, hopefully we can locate the original site plan.
Yep.
And that would have the map reference on that. Now, this next one, item 4, revise the site plan to include all items identified under Town Code Section 240-84, including existing utilities and topography. I was just wondering, why we need that now, I understand septic and well, and that's going to be a separate issue, which is going to come up next. But, why would we need to issue we're not changing any of the...
So you can request waivers, and it's something that the board...
If the previous approved plan has them on there already, then it's really a moot issue at that point. So nothing would have changed.
Showing existing utilities?
That was the previously approved plan, and that did not have it. We do have, so the original application was done in 1986. That has full, that was when the building was built, right?
Right, okay.
And I guess we're going to go on to Mr. Meehan's comments about...
Yeah, no, I understand the concern. If the building is existing, I don't know if it really is going to make that for review purposes, I don't know if it's really going to make a difference.
If there are no changes to water or sewer, typically any site plan, I think it's beneficial for everybody, not just the town, but also the applicant, to at least have your utilities located in.
You're going to get to that next.
So the showing existing topo, I think that if there's nothing else changing, and we had one other comment about you're showing some new, you're rearranging some of the handicap parking.
I'm going to get to that next.
So as long as you're confident that you have accessible pathways and you don't need to regrade anything, then...
I'm not at all confident in that. But what I was going to propose that we do is to get a survey or do an as-built survey of just this corner here, where the handicap spots are and the entrance points here, and then calculate slope, if that would be acceptable.
I think that's very, very reasonable. That's why we kind of left it open-ended. So we were just pointing out, these are the requirements for site plan that are noted in the town code. If there's anything that you would like to request a waiver for and you have justification for it, then you just need to request those.
Yeah, no, I would like to know that myself, because there is a bit of a slope there. So, yeah. Okay, handicap parking area. And then single main driveway entrance. DOT should be included as an involved agency, which, yeah. It's 30 feet wide, but they would probably want to review it anyway, right?
Just under, is this a part, it's a type 2? Oh, then that's a moot point if you're not changing anything. So as long as there's no, part of the comment was also just clarify or confirm that there's no improvements in the right-of-way. So if there aren't, given that this is a type 2 action under seeker, there's no coordinated review, then there are no other involved agencies. So with that, then that comment would be addressed.
Okay. Proposed change of use from property from retail to daycare, probable increase in water and sewer, for sure. So I've already, I did a FOIA request at the health department, and we have the original as-built, well numbers, septic numbers. I know we're going to have to get an engineer involved now to corroborate and do some actual test results on the well, and also calculate, I guess, the septic capacity that's there now.
So as long as there's no other zoning blockades that I don't see, I think that's probably the biggest if you have.
Yeah.
So is the well and septic. Can the septic system accommodate this type of use? And if not, what type of improvements does it need, and can the site accommodate that? So if you can confirm that, I think that's really going to give you the confidence you need to take the next step.
So it was designed for 300 gallons per day in 1987, the septic. So,
do you have any idea what the loading rate would be for this type of use? I would imagine it's...
No, that's why we need an engineer involved to do all this stuff. So.
Okay.
But is there going to be any real, as far as the septic's concerned, are you looking for like real-world testing to actually go in there with
the health department will.
Yeah, to flood it and see what it'll accept.
That's all going to be up to the health department. If you
it's under the parking lot over here, so to do any kind of perk testing, we probably have to core drill it. And
if you are changing the use, that is going to result in an increase in water or sewer demand, which is what you are doing. The health department is going to require. If there's no issues with it, then with the existing septic system, they may allow you to supplement it. They'll probably require some testing to kind of confirm that it's still operational. But yeah, you definitely need to get an engineer to look at this.
Okay. And I did speak to Dan Keeler, and he confirmed that as well. So we're gonna get on that for the next meeting. Okay. What else? Property located in highway. It says in the highway business zone, item 7, but it's HD. Yeah.
Highway design.
Yep.
Highway design. And then, like I said, all the uses are as of right in that zone.
The reference to use variance is also in our. So,
yeah.
That should not have been there.
Okay. And then there was, someone made a comment about possibly going to zoning board for a variance, but we're not.
We're looking for the information from the existing site plan. So if that shows that there's, that might have all the other information that we're looking for previous approvals.
We'll see what is on the original site plan. He did just mention that the building answered my internal question, right? The date in the code that we looked at earlier was 1990. This lot and this building came about in 86, 87?
86 was the application. I think like early 88 was when they started construction.
So that'll help to pinpoint, the questions, or at least find the records that we're looking for to answer the questions.
Okay.
That's the only thing we had there. It's not that it may most likely is probably not required to go to the ZBA.
Good, because that would not be good. All right. What else do I have here? Handicap reviewed, engineering comments, Department of Health comments, and the Department of Health was just water and
water.
well, and so we'll take care of that.
Okay.
Is there any other?
I just have one question. Like you talked about the landscaping. So is that landscaping is going to be like a basic kind of landscaping, or because I have no idea, about landscaping, because I thought it will be just a basic kind of landscaping.
I don't think that we, so what we look for in a landscaping plan primarily is a list of what you are proposing, a list of species.
Okay.
Especially if it's new, we look for a list of species and the size that it's going to be when it gets put in. And that way, 5, 10 years
So
down
we
the line.
have to provide that information. Okay.
Yes, in this instance, what you're looking to do is to maintain the existing landscaping. And so we just need a list of, if you're going to maintain the existing landscaping, we need to know what that landscaping is.
Okay, I got it.
Again, so that in 5 or 10 years, should things die, you are required to replace it in kind. And we know what that is.
Okay, thank you. I got it. Yeah.
We just want it to look pretty.
Okay.
So just to be clear, is the board looking for additional landscaping? Or is that a stupid question to even ask right now?
Well, we don't know what the original is yet.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, if it's
It might have
close.
been.
Yeah, I think we'll probably add a couple of trees, some
we will
ornamental
provide
trees near the
that
entrance.
information, then you will let us know. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to submit a whole plan next time.
From the looks of it, there are a number of mature trees along the road in the back. It's pretty minimal along Route 9, especially at the corner. I don't know if you...
Yeah, there's nothing in the...
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So you may...
You want to make it look pretty.
You may want to add, you may look at what's currently there and say, we want to add some more. I'm also curious, we breezed past it in my memo, but it's still up to the planning board whether or not you want more information on the lighting plan.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be putting, walkways and handicap.
I mean, they're providing enough lighting to cover everything now.
If anything, I would expect that the existing lighting is more than satisfactory. I'm not worried about it being underlit. That was the first thing I looked for with the additional entrances, that they were going to be lit. I don't know what the lighting levels on the site are, but the labels for the poles show that they're all 20 feet.
Why don't we just go out and look at it? Why don't we just go out and look at it in the evening?
Yeah.
I mean, it gets dark at 4:30 now.
I mean, drive by it on the way home now.
Just drive by, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody go individually?
Yeah.
Do it that route?
Everybody goes down there, so take note next time you drive by.
Prior to the next meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
Pull into the parking lot, do a loop.
Either it looks like a circus or it looks like...
When does your...
Sometimes.
When's your contingency end?
Excuse me?
The contingency, when's that over?
At the end of January.
Okay, I just want to set...
So I know it's not.
I just want to set a little bit of an expectation here, because there seems to be a lot, I don't, we're going to do everything we can to help you, but there's a lot on your side you got to get done.
So we'll work hard.
If it's a last minute thing, then we can't get it done. Just to be,
To be clear, though, a lot of the things that we're looking at are design and looking to improve the site, but we're going to find a way forward. I think the main thing on your end to see whether or not this is a viable site is wrapping it up with the
Health Department.
The Health Department.
That's what I told him.
That's the only thing that's going to really get in your way in terms of moving forward. Everything else we can find an agreement on, we can move forward with. But if the septic is not going to work or the water is not going to work, you want to know that before the end of January.
Right. Okay. And as far as lighting goes, so you guys are good with driving by and just viewing the lighting?
I think let the members go. We'll go, everybody gets eyes on it, and I think at that point, then we can make a better decision of either we need to do something or we could just live with what's there.
Okay.
All right, being that it's existing.
All right, very good.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, I don't know, anybody else have any questions for the applicant?
Nope.
No? Okay. All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening. Okay, next item on the agenda for the evening is Casa Amigos Restaurant, amended site plan.
Good evening, Jeff Econom, consultant for the project. Back here again, we have gone back from phasing it to non-phasing. Since the last meeting, I prepared, and you have copies of the sidewalk analysis I did from all the way.
So the sidewalk, I know the sidewalk was one of the bigger issues that brought up by the county. And we did discuss it earlier during the workshop. I mean, what's the board's feeling on the sidewalk on there with the, with the constraints with the grading around the
You
property?
can't do it on the south side.
Yeah, so.
I think
so
you
obviously,
made a compelling case from my perspective to not do the sidewalk.
right, to not do the sidewalk, so I don't think it's going to be a requirement, at this point. So I guess the only other thing is, I know that we needed to schedule, I guess, a public hearing, because we're going to do this phasing, so, if we're going to build this addition on there, then we do have to have a public hearing.
Correct.
So with that, we could schedule that tonight. I have to ask the secretary what things look like in the future meetings. How much do we have on, and
Right now, we have 4 items
for the 21st? Okay.
and they're all discussions.
They're all just discussions.
And we have the new 7-brew coffee, the Ready Coffee. We have Hudson Valley whatsoever, and 10 Stage Road. And
Okay.
I have a conceptual.
Okay. So the question is, would you be, I guess, ready for a public hearing? And that would be, the meeting is January 20.
We have Subaru as well.
It's what?
We have Subaru coming back. Subaru, they came a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, they're coming back for that as well?
They expired, so they're gonna start all over. Yeah.
Okay. I thought we finished that, though. No?
Well, we gave them conditional approval.
And they never-
They had like a full year, and,
Okay.
I guess management changed, and they haven't asked for.
Okay.
And they're starting the process all over.
All right. So you put them on the 20, all right.
Should I be ready? Yes, I can. We've been through the comments I've addressed. I got Christian's
You have
today.
everything seems to be in order, it looks
Yep.
like, so.
You responded already to my one last comment. and-
So I might as well just get the public hearing out of the way, and then that'll get us to, that much closer to the finish line here.
Could I request that maybe, no, Malcolm had drafted up a resolution back in October. It was pretty much complete, but in the resolution, it said there was a waiver for the public hearing, and there was some minor changes. Could you potentially make those so we could have a draft resolution to vote on at the 21st?
Let me ask Malcolm, but with everything, when that was drafted upon without putting on the addition, correct?
No, we were ready to move forward. That was with the addition.
That was with the addition and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the only outstanding item, which is minor in nature and was a condition anyway, did you ever hear back from the village?
B was supposed to find that out. I don't know.
I I sent them through them, I haven't heard.
Okay, well, let's shake that tree. But, I mean, it's already drafted, I'll update the dates. If you want to have something, with the understanding that if anything major comes up at the public hearing that needs to get addressed,
I understand
it gets
that,
pushed.
yes. But if it's,
there can be a draft.
Nothing's drastically changed in the plan, so let's draft the resolution. That'll be fine. We'll make the decision that night if we're gonna, if we're in a position to, to vote on it.
I appreciate that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone.
Take care. Happy New Year.
Do you need a motion to draft his
Oh, yeah. So,
To schedule the public hearing and to
Right.
authorize the
correct.
resolution.
I forgot. That's what we're doing. We're in the process of doing. So I need a motion to authorize or to schedule the public hearing for.
I'll make that motion.
It was January, what was it, January 21st? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Motion made, second, all in favor? Aye. Okay. And motion to authorize the planner to revise the draft resolution
I'll make that motion.
for approval.
Second.
Okay. All right. Motion's made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
See you on the 21st.
Have a good evening.
You too. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, next item on the agenda this evening is Houstonville Firehouse replacement. All right.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here again tonight. Happy New Year as well. So at our last meeting in December, when we were here, we had discussed the initial Part 1 SECRA submission that was provided, as well as the responses that were received and the concerns that Planning Board had regarding that SECRA submission. Following that, we put together the package that we had discussed that went into more detail regarding the initial proposed design that we have, some clarifying items that were put onto the site plan and the existing conditions plan in regards to some of the features of the site with the wetlands area at the back, and sort of just outlined a little bit more on some of the improvements that we were discussing at the last meeting. And primarily, the major items that we had discussed moving forward with the long-form environmental assessment, as well as the EAF mapper to be included in that, because I know that one of the large concerns was that wetland property. So we had submitted all of that. I'm sure that you've had time to review it. And I did see the correspondence, Patrice, that you had sent today, Christian, with your comments regarding pretty much a couple of items that are included in that most recent submission. And since we did receive it in time, we took a look at it. I guess it'd probably be best that I can just go through those 6 items quickly, just to summarize what they were, and just a couple quick comments that we have in regards to that. Item 1 on that list was in regards to the New York State, the Speedies General Permit and SWIP. Obviously, items that we're familiar with that we always make a priority as we move through the process, and certainly items that would be completed as part of the overall project design, but not something that would take place until later on and we proceed past the eventual bond vote.
After the bond resolution's been passed.
But certainly items that are always going to be on our radar as we move through the process. Item number 2 was in regards to the vehicle washing, gray water, and the floor drain requirements. Again, items that, as we move forward, we'd be coordinating with the county permit approval with Dutchess County Health Department. I don't know if there was any confusion on it from the original SECRA submission, but we did include them in the original list of contacts that the SECRA was sent to, which they did provide a response letter stating that they had no objections, obviously that we would just have to follow their standard protocol when it comes to engineering and design as we move through the process, which that vehicle washing, floor drain, and all their requirements would be made part of. Item number 3, Dutchess County water and wastewater involvement. So we also had included a referral to them as well, which they had stated they were not an involved agency and that they didn't have any part moving forward in the SECRA process. We did reach out to the site engineer for the project, Beatty and Watson, which noted that the project would fall under Dutchess County Health Department, which, as we know, they didn't have any issue with, but we would still, just like item number 2, we'd be coordinating with all the requirements with them when it comes to that. Item number 4, the county drainage agency. Again, we spoke with Beatty and Watson. They had noted that with this project falling under Town of Wappingers as designated MS4 for the overall drainage design and approval, as it would be connecting to the existing drainage at the county road. From that, we would be doing an additional referral if needed to get any clarification on that. But our interpretation was that, in including the submission to the town, that was something that was going to be circulated, and that if there was any objection to, to the original secret, that would have been received. So we didn't receive anything specific in regards to that. I think the only responses we received, other than the planning boards, was the Dutchess County Water and Wastewater and Dutchess County Health Department. Item number 5 is in regards to New York State DOT and County DPW. We did include County DPW in the original Part 1 referrals, which we did not receive any response from. But I do understand that on the most recent submission, where we put together the long form, there's always one typo, and I believe that was the only one that we had, which listed it as New York State DOT, not DPW, which they were part of the original referral. So I know there's a question in that correspondence regarding would DOT have any involvement, and obviously with it being a county road, we would be coordinating primarily with County DPW as we standardly would on the project. And the last item, number 6, that's in regards to the New York State DEC and what's considered the wetland area. So we, on the long form EAF, we included the mapper. That was what we had access to for this resubmission as what's currently available through their system. It inputted everything that we needed in regards to that wetland, stating that it wasn't a DEC regulated wetland. Christian, I know that in the correspondence you had mentioned that there have been some, I guess, improvements to their county, to their mapper system and what's considered regulated and non-regulated, or at least have some sort of impact on the project, so that the jurisdictional determination would be something we should just request from them as well in regards to the site, which we would absolutely do. But again, I think just to summarize all these items, I think items 1 through 6 or anything that we have to do that's additional likely wouldn't come into play until after we know if the project's even approved to move forward. I think, as I stated at the meeting in December, we've kind of gotten to a standstill point where we know the overall scope of the project. We know what we expect to be the environmental implications on the site, which, as we see it, is mainly all improvements based on what's currently existing on the site. And anything that would require any town or county agency involvement, we would obviously be relying on them to work with us through the process for all necessary permits and approvals. But at this point, I think closing out the secret process is really the primary objective, just because in order for us to move forward with the bond vote and know if the project is actually going to be a realistic possibility, we can't schedule that until we kind of have the secret process closed out. So that was just kind of the summary. I do appreciate the outline, because it was very descriptive in what the concerns were. And I hope that clears at least some of them up, and if there's anything we can discuss further, we'd be happy to.
I guess you want to, I don't know, did you get you also get the memo from the planner?
Memo either.
Huh?
It doesn't sound like he got my memo either.
So you don't have the planner's memo as well?
The county planning memo that I'm aware of.
While you're getting that, I'll just touch on a couple of things that you just mentioned. And I know this is going to be part of the discussion tonight with Malcolm and the board, but typically, obviously, a lot of these items are handled to at least a certain degree prior to a secret determination. I know the process needs to be different for this project because of the funding issues. So it's just we're pointing things out that usually are looked at or at least identified as potential permits, and you bring them to a point where it seems reasonable that those permits will be obtained prior to making a secret determination. And I'll defer to Malcolm and your legal counsel on what you think is appropriate for them to make a secret determination. But so some of our comments really had to do with corrections to what we were seeing in the EAF, like the simple things like the agencies that were noted, the county drainage agency, and your civil engineering consultant could help you with this too. They're not an agency, so that was my question: is who was the agency that you were contacting? You did answer the question with the Dutchess County Soil and Water Authority, what their role would be. It sounds like they responded there is no role, because I wasn't sure what their role would have been in this. So there were some corrections that we were just pointing out to the EAF, and including which permits may be required. Malcolm's letter touched heavily on the wetlands. That was our last comment. So if DEC permitting is required, that's usually identified in your neg deck. And they don't know that yet until they get the jurisdictional determination. So, but other than that, they're acknowledging that they're going to provide all of these things. Typically, a secret determination isn't made until at least a drainage report is done that documents that the site can accommodate the project. Again, just noting this for the board's reference and why we were bringing these things up. I don't know the fire department's plan for coming back to this board to seek additional comment or review. You mentioned at the last meeting that the plan was to come back for site plan review and approval by this board. I don't know if that's still the fire department's intent. So these things could be at least hammered out during site plan. My comment number one relative to SWIP is that regardless of whether or not they're back in front of the board for site plan review, the town is required to review the SWIP as the MS4. So we can't sign that MS4 SWIP acceptance form that they need to submit to DEC to gain coverage until we've reviewed it. So we would at least need to review the SWIP. Again, any other comments were just kind of overarching things that we were seeing that weren't on the plans that, typically are on the plans and would hope would be addressed and by them and their consultants. So.
Right. Okay, yeah, no, again, that's, the purpose of this is to get all that information together, because obviously there's other things that need to get reviewed. And with that, I guess the discussion again was with the attorney's office was that we were going to go ahead and do this, but again, it'll be documented that you will be coming back to address X, Y, and Z, and I think this is just an avenue of putting all those pieces together. So if the project, if the project is approved, while you're in the design phase, you can come back to the planning board, and then we can hash out the rest of the issues to make sure that everything, is 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and and that was what we had included, I believe, in the
right. Because to be honest, it's just with the two memos that the issues that usually come up during the secret process haven't been addressed. So they're going to get addressed. That's what we're trying to get at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with this, Christian, as you had said, with it being sort of a unique project, is that typically, if it wasn't for a fire district and this was just a commercial project, we would be just going right into the site planning stage right off the bat. But because the circumstances of funding the project with the community
which we understand.
Puts us in a position now where we can't move really forward, even with the simple things like the SWIP process and the drainage and really engineering the project until we know is the community in favor of the project even happening.
Okay. All right. The other question was that you didn't get that memo then,
Not that I recall. Was this sent on January 2nd?
I sent it to the town on January 2nd.
Okay. Yeah.
I sent it to the town on Friday. I don't know that you received it.
Yeah, it would be this one here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go through it.
Sure. Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
Because again, right, a number of these are sort of things that I'm calling out that we would usually go through as part of the site plan / secret process. Okay. I'm only highlighting them because some of them because you may want to get feedback from the board because strong deviation in what you're proposing. If you come back at site plan and things have to change, and it isn't covered in your seeker process, you'll have to do seeker again, right? There's wiggle room, right? Minor changes, or if you're reducing the impact further, you won't have to do that. But if you have to, So the bulk table identified a number of items, looks like you'll need to get variances for. So you'll want to add the ZBA to your EAF and to your neg deck, because those are approvals that you'll need. I mentioned here, in your bulk table, you mentioned that it's in the proposed historical district. I don't know to what degree that affects the bulk table. It looked like it was getting called out in places where usually I see, a variance was previously granted, but instead of saying a variance was previously granted, that asterisk refers to the fact that the site is in the proposed historical district. And I was curious if that was a typo or if that was alluding to something that I was missing. Because as far as I know, it's the historical district was proposed, was never adopted, and should not affect
Yes, we were uncertain if that would apply. I think on one of the forms we had listed that as to be verified, just to make sure there was no historical
additional requirements.
I think there's maybe it popped up because of I believe the church is registered, or it's listed as having historical significance.
This is on the site plan itself in the bulk table.
On the site plan.
What you're saying, if it gets pinged in the EAF or something.
Right, yeah. You're saying it's on the, okay.
It's on the site plan in the bulk table. Usually you would see like an asterisk referring to previously approved variance.
Yeah.
But that asterisk footnote says that this site is in the proposed historical district. So it may just be an error.
But there's no...
I'm sorry?
What date was that?
I mean, it's, what date?
20 years ago?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a footnote on the plan. I don't know. I don't know what degree it's pertinent to this. I just saw it on the plan and was confused by it. So
their last site plan was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and
that may have been more significant at the time because it was proposed and looked like it was going to get adopted. I don't know.
Yeah.
The parking, the parking table talks about calculations. I'm curious where those calculations are coming from. The town parking code does not have a specific parking calculation to this use, which means that it would be up to the board to determine what appropriate parking would be. I only mention this because if you think that they need far more or far less parking, it may affect impervious cover, disturbance in wetland areas, things like that, right? They have their own parking calculations. I don't know where the calculations are coming from.
Is it the same as what's parked there now?
No,
The new
I don't think so.
calculation?
Right, it's a new calculation.
We have, let's see, yeah, because we're just going off of what would be typical code based on the different uses of the building, and knowing what the current parking is of the site right now, and meeting or at least exceeding that. Obviously, the buildings would be slightly larger in square footage, and based on the occupancy, we'd want to be able to provide for code what the required parking is. But that's something that we absolutely go through, as part of the approval process to see what would be allowed, if we're allowed to reduce it, to mitigate any hardscape area.
So it'd be something...
I mentioned it because they also mentioned that there are possible reductions to the proposed parking. Again, I don't know where the reductions are coming from. It's not referenced, but I presume it's a building code.
I mean, it's not a typical use.
Yeah.
So,
And uses can be shared.
let them justify the need.
Yes.
Either more or less, let them justify that during site plan approval.
Yeah.
That's all.
If anything, I think that the parking would come down, not go up.
Yeah.
So I think it'll work in their favor.
Yeah, we originally had it calculated at 80 cars, but that's just using all the different uses of the building and the square footage calculations. But then we listed a proposed parking reduction, given that a substantial portion of the building is dedicated to the apparatus bay and the truck space, which is not, inoccupied area.
They're large open spaces that really aren't going to draw, 100 people, but maybe 25 people.
Yes. Yeah.
Agreed. But just something in writing at some point, I guess, in the future, just justifying the need.
Yeah. And then I think it looks like we ended up right around 61 cars, so from what's the original calculation being 80, and that's including the reductions of the apparatus space square footage. But again, that's part of the process for approvals.
Yeah.
Whatever is going to be recommended by the town for a parking capacity is what we would provide.
Okay.
But we know that we could reach the max of what we have listed.
Sounds good. As far as wetlands, my first comment is about the DEC. You've already touched on it. You're going to need to do a jurisdictional determination with the DEC. Ever since the new regulations went in, that mapper can be used to prove that there are wetlands. It can no longer be used to prove that there are not.
Okay. Yeah, and actually we spoke with, in our conversation with the site engineer, they had mentioned that I guess that would apply to projects that would not be finishing construction by like April 27, just because of, I guess, how new it's been implemented into the DEC system. But obviously we're projecting that, we'd be very close, if not beyond that, with finishing construction, assuming everything goes, smoothly and forward in a quick manner. So we would be accounting for that anyways. That's something that we want to do is the jurisdiction.
That's in effect now, that standard. The new standards are in effect now. It's increased in 2027. There's another level that
it was new. Honestly, it was new to us. Having, I guess, since it's just recently been put in. So, site engineer was kind of explaining it in that sense of, I guess, depends on when the construction and what your timeline is, but still says it's something that we should obviously, just to check all boxes, submit that and make sure that there is no additional regulation that we'd have to incorporate.
Which one does it, I thought it starts.
It's in effect.
Depending on when it's being built or not.
It went into effect January 1, 2025.
So you're not under the impression like there's a timing thing, right? Like.
Oh, no. I was just going off of what we had spoke with the engineer about, and she made a side comment about, something about if you're finishing construction by 2027, there's a different regulation that will be in effect. Which
yes,
what I'm referencing is in effect now.
Think about that anyways.
Yeah.
But
all the more reason to try to get into this one.
Right.
So, yeah.
So get your jurisdictional determination. If they do come back and claim jurisdiction, you're going to have to add DEC to NEGDEC, EAF. Because you'd probably be in the buffer. The Army Corps, Dutchess County Parcel Access and the EAF identifies federally regulated waters. That wetland does not show up on your site plan, but when you look at Dutchess County Parcel Access where it's mapped, it's in the southeastern corner of your site, which is where you're proposing construction staging and soil stockpiling.
Okay.
So I think that you would have construction disturbance of the Army Corps wetland. Moving on to town wetlands. So the town, the neg deck states that the portion of the wetland that is on site is not included in the town wetland map, and therefore an item of local concern. It will come up, right? The town wetland map is not similar to the DEC, right? It does not cover everything that is defined as a town wetland, and the definition of a town wetland includes Army Corps, DEC wetlands, and it goes beyond that. And all town wetlands are going to have a 100-foot buffer. So I think that at the very least, you're going to want to add a town wetland disturbance permit to the list of required permits in your neg deck. And you may want to have a conversation with the planning board about disturbing town wetlands and town wetland buffer areas, because that may affect your proposed design. That gets into the situation where any significant changes at site plan might conflict with the seeker determination that had been approved. Okay. I'm curious about your wetland delineation. The wetland delineated on the site plan that you provided us does not show up in the online mappers. And there are wetlands on the online mappers that don't show up on the site plan. And so I'm curious when that was flagged. And I would recommend, you may want to consider doing a wetland survey to understand where those wetlands are. Certainly that will need to be done before a site plan approval. Sure. but you may want to do that prior to a secret determination, because much of the secret consideration will be your potential impact and your mitigation of those impacts to wetlands. And I question the accuracy of the wetlands shown on the plans.
And that information was, that was brought to us through the site engineer when they put together the current survey.
So it's from the former plan, from the...
The most recent survey that was done on the property for the existing conditions.
So they may have flagged the wetlands also then?
Yeah, so I'll check in with them on that. They would be way more versed to...
So it just might be that the planners need a reference to that, to the original survey.
I'll forward that info to them right away.
So I think that they do that. I think Lincoln Tully does wetlands or wetland maps.
I believe so.
For the solar?
As far as the reasoning that you're putting in the neg deck, it states that there's no adverse impact to map wetlands because the proposed building will be located 55 feet away from the wetland boundary, and there are existing storage trailers as close as 28 and 45 feet away. I would recommend adding to that narrative discussion of the additional parking, right? Because it's not just a one-for-one. Instead of the storage trailers, it's going to be a much larger building and a large parking area that runs throughout what's currently shown and may not end up being once you flag the wetlands, but what's currently shown is that wetland buffer has parking throughout it as close as 12 feet away.
Right.
Which is a big change in impervious surface in the proximity to that wetland. So I would at the very least add discussion there tying into stormwater management mitigation measures. And then similarly, I'm looking at Dutchess County Parcel Access, which has the Army Corps in the town wetland in the southeast corner. And your plans show soil stockpiling, temporary parking, lots of temporary activities associated with construction in that area, and that's not mentioned in your neg deck. Also, take another look at your EAF under question D, D2. Talks about, no, wait. I just caught it, because you're right. I mean, it's a long form, and there's always a typo.
A typo, yeah.
But I snagged it because it was a question specifically about wetlands, and it wasn't answered. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I have a printout of the long form here.
Yeah. Question D2B. Would the proposed action cause or result in alteration of, increase, or decrease in the size of, or encroachment into any existing wetland, water body, shoreline, beach, or adjacent area?
Oh, that wasn't checked off? Is that?
It's not answered.
Okay, yeah.
And the answer to that will be informed by.
Correct, yeah.
You addressing some of the other comments.
Yep. Yeah, because D2A, we had checked off no on the proposed action, which all the items that follow that, we typically don't check off anything because they don't apply because of the original answer. That's one that looked like it was part of that group of questions. But that would be something that, in our interpretation, it would be that it doesn't cause any alteration or increase because, again, I think that was what we were trying to show with even just the preliminary site plan and more diagrammatic that based on the existing conditions of the site where the limit of current parking is, a hardscaped area, as well as the existing main storage building for the apparatus and the training building are all closer to that wetland area than what we're proposing. Our limit of parking and hardscape, as well as our new building, would be beyond, several feet beyond that. But then also, I think that's why we just wanted to show in relation to the drainage, Based on how the site is currently graded right now, there is a strong portion along that back portion of the site that has basically untreated stormwater that does naturally grade towards the wetland area. So we wanted to sort of show diagrammatically that with the new layout and how we would be regrading that portion, that everything would be contained from that high point on site. So it would actually be mitigating, taking away what would be considered right now a sort of a negative impact on that area. So, but that's something that obviously we'll update on the form and include that in the neg deck as well.
It's the end of my memo.
Oh, you're good?
It's the end of mine, yeah.
All right. So I guess at this point, I mean, what do we want to do? Do we want to get them to update their information, submit it to us before we make a decision here, or do we gonna, or do we just work off of what we have currently? We put the letter together that we're going to reverse the decision, with the caveat that they're coming back for site plan approval to address X, Y, and Z.
It's totally up to you.
They need that to they need to vote, right? They need that for the vote?
They need to conclude seeker before they can issue a moratorium, referendum for the law.
Correct. They don't want to go through the full process, but again, there's obviously things that are come up there's things that have come up through the environmental assessment form that need to be addressed. So, if they're coming back to deal with us, then at least we know it's been addressed. The wetland issues, which the buffers, those have always been the board has always had issues with those, with some of the other projects that come here. They're going to be asking for the same waiver that some other projects have asked for that we've denied.
So the wetland buffer issue, right, is all temporary stuff?
No. Well, the way that the site is currently, and again, I mean, we talked a little bit about the drainage swale in the back along the property.
Yep.
And whether or not that is a wetland, whether or not that would come up, if you were to flag it today, that wetland area that runs along the boundary of the property line, I don't know if that would show up as a wetland if it were flagged today. But there is a mapped wetland in the southeast corner where you're proposing construction activities. I don't know whether or not the planning board would entertain a wetland disturbance permit for that, or whether you'd have to find another way to stage or.
I think it's
a separate issue.
I think it's right. I think that it's not. It's been incorrectly mapped, what you have there. But the wetland there is probably an issue with you encroaching a buffer, but not as much as what you have currently. Because if it's properly mapped, with an area that's been delineated on the plan, it's probably on the adjacent property, but 100 feet from that, the new parking lot is probably going to encroach it. And it's just a matter of how much is it going to encroach that buffer. So, but I think you got to check and see what I guess you got to check with your engineer to see what they did when they did the survey of the property.
Absolutely.
If we just identify everything and have our attorney's office put together an application, put together a letter identifying all things, and between the three of you to come up with a letter, and once that's been put together, we can vote on it at the next meeting. Does that sound feasible?
Sure.
Okay. All right. And then we'll go ahead and we can rescind our decision, reversing that decision, let you be lead agency. But with the assumption, with the assumption that you're coming back for site plan approval to address X, Y, and Z.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and that goes back to when we did the first submission. We wanted to make that known that planning and all the related agencies that you would typically work with.
Right, it's outside, this is definitely way outside the norm, and again, if you want to be a lead agency, then the fire district becomes liable for any issues that may come up with it at that point.
Understood.
But we just want to make sure in terms of just, in general, that, everything is being addressed, which is part of the local law that we're supposed to do.
Correct. And the hope is that we can move forward with the bond vote actually see the project happen and get to that point with yourself.
Okay. All right, so with that, need to make a motion. Somebody wants to make a motion to authorize the attorney, planner, and engineer to draft
Reversal letter.
to draft a letter for us to approve, to rescind our earlier
make a motion.
decision regarding the neg deck.
Yeah, and I'll second it.
Okay, motion's made, second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay, so we'll get that together, and if any questions, just reach out to the staff and they can answer them.
Thank you all very much. And Patrice, if you wouldn't mind, could you send me the email with that planning letter, just because then I can forward that over to the site engineer a lot quicker.
Do you want that letter for the next meeting, 21st, January 21st?
Yes, yeah, possible, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. All right. All right. Okay. All right, so our next item on the agenda this evening is a conceptual review for Cafe Luso, or amended site plan. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. So, basically, we kind of have a little change with the plan since there's another cafe that applied that's going into where Sonic is. So I'm going to try to be as easy as I could, just in case that one doesn't go through. Then we're going to process this for the future.
Okay. So,
I'm sorry, you said a cafe has applied to you?
Say that again?
I didn't follow what you said.
I can't hear you.
So
I didn't follow what you said, your introduction.
What I said is, we were planning to open this cafe right on Route 9.
Right.
But we just noticed that there's another franchise that's coming into town where Sonic is.
Correct.
So that might affect our plans, but we're just gonna talk about it, see how our approval, and just put it in our pocket, just in case those guys don't go through.
okay, so, all right, so just out of curiosity, what is it, actually, it's kind of tough because we don't have Barbara here. So the staff in the office sent you here with this application?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So with the requirement, what's kicking in the requirement for you to come back here for the cafe? Is it just change of use?
Yeah, because this place has been a tanning salon and a hair salon for a long time.
Okay.
And now we're just changing the use into basically retail, which is the cafe, because we don't serve hot food or anything. Everything is prepared and ready to go. The only thing is the coffee that's going to be made in-house.
Okay. So there's no, all right, so you have no cooking on site, though?
No cooking on site.
All right.
Are you doing retail?
Say that again?
Are you doing retail also?
Yeah, retail for the coffee that we have, like coffee beans.
Nothing related to your other business, right?
Which other business?
Do you have a business there on you own a vape shop also?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but there's going to be no vape items or
No, not in
anything
there.
related from that business?
We have enough of those.
I just want to be sure. Sometimes when you know, it could be a coffee shop and then all of a sudden it blends into something different.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure it's
we've
strictly just a
been
coffee
that
shop.
vape shop since 2017, but I don't think we're...
Good deal.
Okay. So just out of curiosity, the floor plan you show, this floor plan is for the entire building? Or is this just a portion of the building that's currently there?
No, that's the entire building.
That's the entire building, okay. Just wanted to confirm that. All right. So basically, you're going from basically a professional service to,
Probably restaurant.
Huh?
Probably restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm checking the schedule of use right now,
yeah,
but I don't think that this would be categorized as retail. This would be categorized as restaurant.
wouldn't be, right, it'd be closer to a restaurant.
Food and drink, yeah.
Yeah, you're still going to have Department of Health inspections.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, then so with the change of use, then you're gonna, it's more of an intense use of the property.
I imagine that the parking demand will go up.
Right.
Actually, no, I think retail and personal use, yeah, no, the parking demand might go up because it's going to restaurant.
Right, restaurant would be a higher use.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so with this, right now, your proposal is just to do work on the inside, the outside of the building would stay exactly the way it is?
The outside
With the exception of, let's say, a sign?
Yeah, well, it's basically the same signage, because we already have both of them, one on the building, one on the street. So we'll keep both of them, we'll just change the names, obviously. On the outside, if we're doing any changes, we might just paint the building from both sides, not from the front.
Okay.
We're keeping the same landscaping. I think over there we're in the village sewer. We're not on a septic.
Okay, so you have, all right.
Yeah.
And you have water as well?
And we have water. We have well water, but we're in the septic.
Okay, but you have the sewer. You have sewer service that goes to the village?
Sewer, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So the biggest thing that you should be aware of, because the plan that you've submitted doesn't show the parking area, the reason that this isn't just a change in use and that you have to come to the planning board is because your change of use includes a higher parking demand, and we'll look to make sure that you have adequate parking for the use that you're proposing.
Yeah, but as of right now, the building have a capacity of at least 15 cars.
Okay.
For parking.
So it was probably approved as service business, which is one parking space for every 150 square feet. And you're going to restaurant, which is one for every 3 seats or one for every 100 feet of square footage. So your square footage is what?
I think the narrative said 20 to 30 seats. So
the retail, like the basic seating square footage will be around 1,500 square feet.
Yes, it's one for every 3 seats or one for every 100 square feet of gross floor area, whichever is greater.
that would give you at least 10 cars plus employees in the lot if you're going by 30 seats.
Yeah.
And then we also have an extra space on the other side for parking. And we're working on a new easement with the owner in the back.
The golf place?
No, the guy, the doctor, the dentist in the back, he owns, if you go in parcel access, you see how.
Oh, you own, so that's one continuous property back to the old dental office?
Yes. That's, it's only the left side if you're facing the property. That whole parking had an easement. He took it out because he was selling the building, and now me and him were negotiating to do a new one.
I thought you couldn't do that with that car dealership. They couldn't use the neighborhood either as part of their calculation for...
It's a specific special permit if you're a car dealership. It's actually encouraged if you're anything else.
Oh, good, okay.
Shared parking and access between parking lots off of Route 9, potentially reducing curb cuts, is encouraged for anything other.
But not for car dealerships.
No, it's a specific special permit for car dealerships. I don't make the laws. I don't do it.
That's great. Okay, so that makes, all right. All right, so, this one's kind of, I don't know,
Yeah, just so you know, we're looking at Dutchess County parcel, and I don't see any parking on this land.
On where?
It looks like it's next door, the parking areas. Like over here, but I don't know if that's their property or not. It looks like it's the...
I don't know if you could see on the parcel access, but if you go on the Google map, you'll see it. We have
I see the
whole right side, and it's already marked.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at, but that's not, doesn't look like it's on your property.
No, it's on my property.
No, he's getting an easement for it.
No, the one side is on my property. The other side where I'm getting the easement.
So you're gonna get, all right, so you're gonna get
Yeah, it's
parking.
an
So you have to
extra-
get
it's
a-
an
The parking along the southern side of the
Yeah,
building
okay.
is on his property. I see what you're talking about, though, because all those angled
We're looking at
spots,
the northern part.
The northern
yeah,
part's not yours.
are, none of those are on his
So,
lot.
all right, so I mean, yeah, I mean, this is, so basically, they need to get you need to get a site plan approval, full site plan approval.
And a shared parking.
And with that, part of that process is getting the easement to make up the parking that you're probably missing.
But we're, as the calculation, we're not missing any parking.
Is there an existing parking agreement with,
No,
That's
for
true.
my side of parking, I have 15 cars.
Go by the
what's the square footage of the building? Do you know?
The building is around 2,500 square feet.
2,500?
Yeah. But the use of it is probably less than 1,500 because you got storage in the back.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at the
prep
parking
area.
Parking calculations for restaurant is gross floor area. So it's 1 for every 100, say 25 spaces, would be what you would be required for unless you were able to argue that your use requires less parking than a standard restaurant for whatever reason. You'd have to seek a parking waiver from the planning board, and you'd have to make that case.
That's the thing, we're not going to be serving food or cooking food, so it's, you know my argument where it's going to go.
I know, but I don't have the ability to give you that waiver. The planning board has the ability to give you that waiver. I hear your argument. Curious. I mean, I'll speak with Barbara about it. I don't see a parking use that they would be subject to other than restaurant, but like you said, it's not a restaurant, it's a coffee shop. You're in and out, but, you know, I don't know.
Well, what's Starbucks considered?
If anything, Starbucks probably serves more food, but Starbucks would be considered a restaurant, and they would, you know, if it's 2,500
You're not gonna
square
have a
feet.
microwave at all? No microwave?
Microwave?
Yeah, like something
For
to heat
like
up the
heating
pastry?
food? Most likely, we're going to have sweets, but no
So it's
food.
gonna be like Starbucks.
Pastries.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be just like Starbucks, like a warming oven of some sort.
And I'm saying, Starbucks would come in and say
No, I got you.
they would be subject to the same parking requirements, and they would have to make the same argument to you, and
Yeah.
it would be up to you to grant or deny it. I mean, just letting you know that you would probably need a parking waiver.
I think this is
And a
one of
parking
those-
agreement.
Yeah, I think this is one of those tough ones because we're not getting from staff, you know, from the town staff or from zoning administrator at least, why they're here.
I assume because their parking requirement would go up.
Parking is one thing, you know, I don't know if there's anything other than that that we're looking at,
Yeah.
that we're, you know, addressing, or was this meant to just come in as an architectural review to be, you know, just pass through, but
Well, it would be more than
I'm having a difficult, I'm just
Kind
having.
of like they want to know what they're up against if
Right,
they
right,
decide to go
yeah.
forward.
I mean, worst case scenario is, they have to go for the site plan approval. And they haven't mentioned that to you?
Who?
Who did you talk to in the office about this?
About this project?
Yes, yeah. So
Mr. Beaver, yeah.
The reason we are before you is the change of use,
the change of use.
and they're going to have to amend.
So it does have to amend the site plan, so we have to go for.
Change in use is an increase
So
in
the whole thing,
intensity.
so it is that then? Okay. No, so that's exactly what I was thinking then. All right, so all right.
So in order to do the change of use, I have to
You
provide...
have to amend the site plan.
And I explained all of that to him.
Yeah, no, she
Okay.
did. She did. No, I'm not blaming her. She did. She did a good job.
Okay. So one of the big things that's been coming up quite a bit is with that amending the site plan is there is a current site plan somewhere. And you're going to need to get a copy of that somehow, either through the town office or, you know, the previous owner, because you're in the process of buying this, or you already bought the building?
No, I own the building.
You already bought it, okay, so okay. But, you know, to get that, to include in the new, in the amended site plan, and the amended site plan would cover your new use, which would be, typically, restaurant, falls more in line with what you're doing.
So when you say a site plan, are you talking about the blueprint inside the store?
CVS or whatever you...
No, not inside, I'm talking about the site plan outside. So you're talking about the stuff that goes on around the outside of the property, so the parking lots, the parking spaces, the setbacks, the lighting, the landscaping, all that type of stuff. That's what we're looking at, and if you have that to work off of, then amending it, it's just basically just changing the use and then showing that you have met all the requirements for that particular use.
I understand.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, do you have an engineer that you work with?
I have a long, I'll get it done.
Okay, I'm just saying that they probably would be very helpful in the process.
Yeah, no, I'll do it someone.
Okay.
We have the survey already, so.
You have the survey, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes it much easier.
Yeah, so and it's just, from that, you're still going to have to fill in all the pieces, and again, it's, the big thing, I think, is working off that current site plan, whatever's been previously approved, and that will help this move forward.
It's been a tanning salon for a long time.
It's what?
It's been a tanning salon for a long time.
No, I know, I remember, and it's the owner, and the owner owned that property and the adjacent property where the parking is. Right. But when you bought it, you didn't get a parking easement or an access
we had
easement.
one. No, we had it, but the guy had his building for sale. And one of the guys who wanted to buy it, he wanted to make sure that there's no easement. He canceled the easement, and then he figured out that DEC not allowing him to open a pathway from New Hackensack to Route 9 anyway. So it's not beneficial for him.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it sounds like you're gonna wait and see what happens with that other place anyway, right? So we have time.
Which one?
The other coffee place that's coming.
Oh, yeah. So I have a little time until the next meeting.
So that's,
but I'll get it done.
So, I mean, at this point, I don't think anybody, so at the end of the day, I don't think anybody here objects to what you're looking to do.
Of course.
I don't think there's any issue with it, but it's just a matter of having to go through the process to make it, basically conform with the zoning requirements. And then again, part of that is having to get an amended site plan approval. So, I mean, I think you need, make your decision where you want to go, but then I think going forward, I think what you do is you need to, you're going to have to make an application for a full site plan, or an amended site plan approval.
And that would be submitted for any next meeting I want to come in?
Well, depending upon when you get that put together, yes. So you would get that application put together, and then depending upon when you submit that, as long as you submit before whatever the deadline date is, they'll put that on that meeting's, agenda.
But then
so they're probably going to be, it's like 3 to 4 weeks ahead of the meeting.
But after that site plan meeting, I don't have to come back and do a change of use, do I?
The amended site plan.
The amended site plan is the change of use.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's all wrapped up together.
All right. Beautiful.
Okay. So.
Thank you guys for your time.
Okay. No problem. All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay. All right. So with that, next item, we have a miscellaneous item on the agenda here this evening regarding Downey Propane.
Yeah, that's going to be a short thing.
Yep. So at this point, it's going to attorney-client session.
Either way, to discuss open litigation.
To discuss, right, open litigation.
I'll make that motion.
All right, so the motion's been made. Do we have a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So that motion carries.
Okay. Put a quick potty break.
Quick, yeah. Yeah, we're going to come back real quick because we have this.